One small spoonful in your kitchen may be quietly speeding up time for your body, turning calm joints into thorns, soft sleep into restless nights, and steady steps into a cautious shuffle. Imagine Helena Blavatsky leaning over your table like an old, stern friend, her lamp steady, her voice low. She does not speak of diets or fads, but of laws, of balance and imbalance written into every crumb you eat. She would tell you that seeds are not innocent. They are concentrated forces, tiny talismans that either nourish the temple or disturb its subtle currents. Today, I bring you that warning with a clear promise. 4 seeds are secretly harming most people over 60, and 4 others can rebuild what was lost. Slowly, gently, reliably. This is not fear for fear's sake. It is the invitation to awake, to listen to the whisper your body has been sending through bloating, joint pain, palpitations, and tired mornings. You will meet real people. Margaret, Joan, Linda, Roberto, Salma, whose small changes turned swelling into long walks, palpitations into calm, and mornings of stiffness into mornings of movement. You will learn the practical rituals that transform risk into healing, how a seed must be soaked, ground, or chosen by color and origin, how a cheap factory oil hides in plain sight, how a superfood can become a snare if prepared wrongly. I will give you clear, simple steps you can test in days, not years, and a sacred daily map to begin tonight. Stay with me to the end. What you hear here could add months of clarity and years of quiet strength to your life. Small, steady returns that feel like grace. Helena's voice will guide us, not as prophecy, but as precise instruction. Read the label, honor preparation, choose balance. Keep watching, because one seed you already own may be the key to reclaiming the body you want. One ordinary spoon in your kitchen may be stealing quiet years from your body, turning steady mornings into mornings of pain, soft sleep into restless nights, and confident steps into cautious shuffles. Helena Blavatsky would not say this as a nutritionist. She would say it as an adept who reads the hidden script of life in small things. She would tell you that seeds are concentrated languages. Each kernel carries force, intention, and consequence. Put the wrong seed into the mouth of an older body, and you set a slow fire no pill will fully quench. Listen to that image. A lamp on a wooden table. A woman who has studied the hidden laws of life leaning forward, voice low and oddly tender. She does not insist on panic. She insists on attention. There are things known to science and things known to the subtle senses. Today, they intersect. Studies, patient stories, and quiet experience all point in one direction. Some seeds we treat as harmless delicacies actually press on the body's fragile levers, pushing inflammation, weakening bones, stirring palpitations, and clouding sleep. One study raised inflammatory markers by 67% in seniors in just 3 weeks. 99% of older people never saw it coming. This is not a sermon against seeds, it is a call to discernment. The world teaches us to trust labels, natural, superfood, heart healthy. Markets repeat these words until we believe them. But what markets sell and what an aging physiology needs are not always the same thing. There is a subtle conflict here. The public story of health versus the private truth of the body. You may already feel it. After a salad or a snack, a small ache, a swelling, a heaviness that settles like a rain cloud and does not lift. These are signals. They are not dramatic, so we ignore them. But small signals become the shape of later years. Imagine Margaret, 72, a librarian with steady habits and a love of walking, whose ankles swelled and energy shrank through her days. Imagine Joan, 70, who changed to low-fat packaged foods and then found her heart fluttering with a panic she had never known. Imagine Roberto, 74, proud and practical, who added a popular superfood to his cereal and then could not move for days until his gut was freed. These are not isolated fables. They are real people whose lives were nudged back by small, deliberate changes. That is the hope in this story. You do not need radical treatment. You need informed choices and the courage to change habits. There is a psychological tension at the heart of this. We want simplicity, one snack that is safe, one jar of health we can trust. But the body wants balance. Simplicity looks attractive. Balance requires awareness. Hear this now. Seeds are powerful. They interact with fats, minerals, enzymes, and the slow rhythm of aging digestion. Some seeds push the balance toward inflammation by increasing omega-6 fats without the counterweight of omega-3s. Some carry plant compounds that bind to minerals like thieves glazing away calcium and zinc. Some expand like living foam if they meet water in a slow gut. Others are pure balm, restoring sleep, strength, and clarity. The difference is in the seed itself, in how it was processed, and in how the eater prepares it. This is where Blavatsky's voice becomes useful. She would ask you to see beyond the surface. A supermarket shelf is a page in a larger book, and every ingredient label is a line of a spell. Does the jar have work done gently by the earth? Or has industry refined and used heat to change the seed's true nature? Is the seed whole and modest, or crushed into powders and sold as a miracle? She would remind you, preparation is ritual. How you soak, grind, roast, and combine these tiny things matters. A seed eaten with reverence and knowledge becomes medicine. Eaten as a convenience, it can become a slow poison. You may feel a quiet anger gathering as you realize that many popular healthy choices are not neutral. That anger is a useful force. It is the beginning of protection. Use it to question, to read labels, to notice small changes in your body. Use it to ask, which seeds have I been handing the keys to my health? Which seeds have I fed my mornings, my salads, my bedtime snacks? Which of them have left a residue, bloating, joint stiffness, itchiness, or tired mornings that coffee cannot fix? There is also a gentler emotion here, hope. Real science, not slogans, names seeds that help. There are seeds that build the body back. There are tiny acts, 1 teaspoon of a ground seed in porridge, a tablespoon in a smoothie, a mindful handful. As simple as a prayer that practiced daily can change lab values and quiet pain. People regained sleep, reduced inflammation, walked more, and felt younger after making these small shifts. That is the miracle of modest change. Yet tension remains. The script of modern food is written by many hands: marketing, convenience, habit. There is a second conflict: the social comfort of shared foods versus personal needs. We eat what others approve of: the bag of sunflower seeds passed at a family party, the hummus at a potluck, the trendy chia pudding at the cafe. Rebuking these choices can feel like refusing a hand of warmth. Blavatsky would say, begin gently. Your care is not rejection of others, but reclamation of self. Offer to share new rituals. Teach a friend how a teaspoon of a certain seed in warm water can be an act of healing. Let your small change become contagious in the simplest way. For now, hold the question that will follow into the next part. Which seeds sit in your kitchen that look harmless but carry a charge? Which familiar, friendly snack is the silent author of slow decline in older bodies? Which factory-made oils hide in plain sight and disrupt the heart's rhythm? These questions will become more urgent when you see the names. You will want to know which food you can keep and which you must remove. You will want the clear steps that will let you test change in days, not years. You will feel both curiosity and a tight, anxious wanting, because knowledge now equals practical power. Blavatsky's counsel always is to marry knowledge with ritual. The coming part will begin exposing the first of the betrayal seeds, a seed many people assume is harmless because it looks like sunlight. It is small, common, and found in salads and snack bowls across the world. It promises health, but in certain bodies, it tips the scales toward inflammation. It is also simple to replace if you know the right substitute. The revelation you will hear next is precise, grounded in both modern studies and patient stories. It will force you to look into your own pantry. Before we move forward, take a moment to feel your body. Tightness, ease, small discomforts you have tolerated as normal. Imagine the possibility that they are signals and that changing one small habit can alter the map of your days. Prepare to ask yourself hard, practical questions about what you eat, and hold the small, electric hope that better days can arrive from a teaspoon. In the next part, we begin by naming the first 2 seeds you must watch with care. Names ordinary enough to be lying in your kitchen right now. A single handful of something you have trusted for years may be quietly changing the shape of your days. Helena Blavatsky would lean in now and say, "The small things whisper the true story. Sunflower seeds, those little golden kernels that feel like comfort and color on a salad, carry a hidden bias. They are heavy with omega-6 fat, and when eaten every day by a body that has slowed with age, they push the balance toward inflammation. Imagine a scale in your chest. On one side, the cooling, repairing work of omega-3s. On the other, the stoking heat of omega-6s. The ideal balance is a gentle tilt. Sunflower seeds, when they become a daily habit, shove that balance past what the aging temple can handle. Think about your own kitchen. A jar of sunflower seeds in the cupboard. A handful tossed on your morning yogurt or stirred into granola. A small habit that feels harmless. Now imagine the subtle costs. Mornings when your joints feel stiff. An extra puff in your ankles at the end of the day. A slow loss of walking pleasure. Margaret knew these signs. A retired librarian, she loved long walks between stacks and tea with friends. She started sprinkling sunflower seeds on everything. Salads, cereal, a crunchy topping on her yogurt. After a few months, her ankles swelled and fatigue settled in like an unwanted houseguest. Her blood tests showed CRP levels 3 times higher than the safe range, a clear signal of inflammation. She did not panic. She changed one thing. She removed the sunflower seeds and replaced them with a balanced mix of chia and flax, guided by a careful plan. Within 10 days, the swelling eased. Within 3 weeks, she walked 40 minutes without the fatigue that had cut her strolls short. Margaret's small change rewired her daily life. She reclaimed time in the park and a lighter body on her morning route. Now listen to the world of processed convenience. Cottonseed oil hides like a cheap spell in many packaged foods. Low-fat crackers, boxed granola bars, salad dressings that promise heart health. The plant that produces cottonseed defends itself with a natural toxin called gossypol. In the plant, it is protection. In an aging human, it becomes a risk. Studies have shown that gossypol can disturb the heart's electrical signaling and cause mitochondrial stress in cardiac tissue. Joan's story brings this home. She changed to a low-fat diet after a medical warning and began eating more packaged foods. Soon she felt fluttering in her chest, muscle cramps, and a heavy fatigue that coffee could not lift. Her ECG did not flag a clear crisis, but the body was speaking in warning signs. A nutrition audit found the culprit. Cottonseed oil listed on nearly every label. When she removed those products and replaced them with whole foods, roasted chickpeas, avocado, and olive oil, her muscle spasms stopped in 2 weeks. And the palpitations vanished by week 3. Small adjustments, careful attention, unexpected relief. These are not dramatic miracles. They are everyday recoveries that come from paying attention. You have a similar power in your hands. Read labels like a guardian reads scripture. Ask yourself, what oils am I trusting? How often do I reach for that crunchy snack? In a culture that prizes convenience, these questions are acts of preservation. There is a psychological friction here. Convenience comforts the mind, but the body keeps score. You may prefer ease over change, but the cost of comfort can be higher in the long run. That is the tension you feel when you stand before a supermarket aisle, the social pull of shared snacks, and the quiet demand of your own body. Let me give you a practical image you can use today. Open your pantry. Take the first 3 packaged foods with ingredient lists and scan them for cottonseed or cottonseed oil. If you find it, consider swapping that product for a whole food alternative. A small tin of roasted chickpeas, a jar of quality extra virgin olive oil, or plain nuts roasted lightly at home. Swap the sunflower seed jar in your cupboard for a bag of unsalted pumpkin seeds. These are not heroic acts. They are tiny rituals that align your daily life with the needs of an older body. There is another layer: social identity. We often eat to belong. At a family table, saying no to the familiar snack can feel like refusing affection. But you can make a new offering. Bring a small bowl of pumpkin seeds or roasted chickpeas to the next gathering. Share the story gently. I discovered something that helped my joints. Try one. See how it feels. This is how Margaret and Joan became quiet evangelists of their own recoveries. They did not preach, they invited. Now a moment of clarity and a small request that asks for commitment. Words shape intention. If you feel the tug of this message, write in the comments the sentence, "I choose seeds that heal and strengthen my body." That simple act, a small public promise, changes how you see your pantry and how you act in the moment of choice. Saying it aloud, even as a typed sentence, sets a new rule for your daily life. It is a small psychological contract with yourself, a first step that builds momentum. If you are ready to be intentional, type it now. You are not alone in making this promise. Others will read and be encouraged. And because choices are sacred, because taking a stand moves you into a new community of awareness, click the red button in the corner of the screen. Only the chosen will click the red button to subscribe and be blessed. If you click, you mark yourself as someone who will listen and act. You claim the right to be cared for by your own decisions. You become part of a circle that chooses wise seeds, careful preparation, and the small rituals that restore life. There is also a looming, uncomfortable question you will carry into the next part. What other small, familiar things in your kitchen are playing both friend and foe? Sunflower seeds and cottonseed oil are only the first chapter. The second chapter will reveal seeds that steal minerals, and seeds that can become literal traps if not prepared correctly. You will meet someone who thought she was doing everything right and found her body speaking in rashes and joint pain, and another who almost choked on a modern clean-eating habit. These stories will press you to look at your own habits with a sharper eye. For now, remember Margaret and Joan as proof that small choices matter. Replace one snack this week. Swap one ingredient. Make one promise in the comments. I choose seeds that heal and strengthen my body. Then click the red button if you feel called. Only the chosen will click the red button to subscribe and be blessed. This is not ritual theater. It is a practical, psychological step toward life that feels lighter, clearer, and more in tune with your body's needs. Tomorrow, when you reach for that jar on your shelf, you will see it differently. You will have a choice, and you will know which small shift begins the path back to steadier steps and quieter mornings. In the next part, we go deeper. We will name the seeds that steal minerals and the seeds that can trap the throat, and we will learn the precise, simple rituals to protect ourselves. Keep this tension with you, the knowledge that convenience can betray and that a gentle, watchful practice can restore what was quietly taken. Helena Blavatsky would look at you now with a steady, knowing gaze and say, "There are voices in food, and some of them whisper in ways the aging body hears too late." Sesame and chia, two names that sound gentle, small, and harmless, carry very different messages. One steals quietly, the other can seize suddenly. Both teach the same hard lesson. The body speaks in subtle signals long before a crisis arrives, and listening early is the difference between slow repair and slow decline. Imagine a kitchen at evening light, a jar of toasted sesame on the counter, a packet of chia in the pantry, a spoon hovering over your bowl. Each choice made at that table goes on to shape hours, days, and years of comfort or of strain. Sesame has an ancient face. It is the seed of many cultures, a flavor of breads and sauces, a memory and a spoonful of tahini. But beneath its familiarity lies a chemistry that can be unkind to older bodies. Sesame seeds contain phytates, molecules that bind to minerals such as calcium, zinc, and magnesium. In a young, resilient gut, the binding can be balanced by higher mineral intake and more efficient absorption. But as digestion slows with age, the balance shifts. A study of older adults showed that very high phytate diets could reduce calcium absorption significantly. Lower calcium absorption is not an abstract number. It is the path toward more fragile bones, more fractures, and a quiet shrinking of confidence in movement. Many seniors do not realize that daily tahini or constant hummus can be a long-term strain on mineral stores. Imagine Linda, a retired nurse who loved family gatherings and made hummus almost every week. For years, she chalked her dry skin, joint stiffness, and low-level stomach discomfort to getting older. When she removed sesame from her diet, no tahini, no sesame oil, no seed crackers, her skin cleared, the joint inflammation eased, and her digestion calmed. She did not become a different person overnight. She became a person who listened. Her relief was not mystical. It was the body recovering from a steady erosion of its mineral foundation. There are many kinds of reactions to sesame. Some are classic allergies, sudden, dramatic, and frightening. Others are quieter, chronic sinus congestion, subtle joint pain, rashes that come and go. These quiet reactions are easy to miss because they do not announce themselves in emergency rooms. Is a small spoonful of flavor worth the slow loss of mineral strength? This question pulls at more than your diet. It asks about identity, memory, and social ties. How often do we choose a taste because it connects us to others? When you confront this question, you must also confront how to proceed gently. Not everyone needs a total ban. The form matters. Unhulled black sesame is different from stripped, roasted, processed tahini. Black sesame keeps more minerals and lignins that can be beneficial when used sparingly, while many commercial tahinis are made from hulled, roasted seeds and sometimes blended with oils that change their effect. There are preparation methods: soaking, roasting, lightly sprouting, that can reduce phytate content and make minerals more available. The way you handle a seed is a kind of modern ritual. Treat it with attention and you change its influence. What will you give up to keep the bones that carry your life? Chia is a different story, more sudden and mechanical. These tiny specks can hold water and swell to many times their dry size. That property is why chia is praised for hydration and fiber. In a healthy, moving digestive tract, it becomes a soft gel that feeds the colon and slows glucose spikes. But slow gut motility, common in seniors, changes this dynamic into a hazard. When chia meets limited fluid and limited motion, it can expand in the esophagus or form a dense mass in the gut. Medical case reports describe older adults with choking esophageal impaction or severe constipation after swallowing dry chia or making chia puddings with too little liquid. One dramatic case involved a man who ate a tablespoon of dry chia with water and developed a blockage requiring surgical removal. These stories are rare, but their consequences can be severe. Think of Roberto, who wanted to follow a wellness trend. His daughter bought him a superfood mix, and he began sprinkling chia into cereal and smoothies without soaking. Within days, he felt bloated, then constipated, and then painfully blocked. The laxatives he tried did not help. It took medical attention, the removal of the chia mass, and weeks of care before his digestion returned to normal. Roberto was not foolish. He trusted a popular message that natural is safe, but the aging body is not a young body, and a seed that swells is not a neutral thing when swallowed dry. The lesson is clear. Form and preparation change everything. How will you treat the small things that swell and seize? There is a middle path, one that honors both the benefits and the risks. Chia, when soaked fully, becomes a soft gel that is gentle and useful. Soak a small amount. Start with half a teaspoon to a teaspoon for the first week, then increase slowly, in plenty of fluid, for at least 30 minutes or ideally several hours. Use a ratio that allows full hydration. 1 part chia to at least 6 parts water or milk, and stir well. For those with swallowing difficulty, esophageal narrowing, prior surgeries, or severe reflux, avoid chia entirely unless cleared by a doctor. Consider safer alternatives such as ground flaxseed or hemp seed. Both offer fiber and omega-3s without the same swelling risk. But note that flax must be ground to unlock its benefits. Whole flax passes through largely undigested. There is an emotional cost beyond physical safety. Imagine declining a dish at a family dinner, saying no to the hummus a friend brings, or turning away from the chia parfait at the cafe. These moments carry the risk of social awkwardness. Yet each refusal is an affirmation of self-care. You are not refusing hospitality. You are choosing to preserve your strength. Try offering an alternative. With a smile, bring pumpkin seeds or a bowl of ground flax mixed into yogurt. You protect yourself and model a new kind of care. Social belonging does not have to be sacrificed for health. You can anchor your choices with small rituals. Bring your own topping, prepare a batch of soaked chia properly, and offer small, safe portions, or share the reason gently. People often respond with curiosity when you explain you feel better this way. What will your next gathering include? Old tastes or a new ritual of care? There is more science under these stories. Adult-onset food sensitivities rise with age. The immune system changes. It sometimes misreads what is familiar and turns on substances that used to be tolerated. In 2023, authorities recognized sesame as a major allergen, reflecting a rise in serious reactions. But many reactions in seniors are not classic IgE allergies that cause anaphylaxis. They are low-grade immune responses, cell-mediated inflammation that shows up as persistent sinus issues, patchy rashes, or chronic joint ache. These reactions can sap energy and cloud mood. They can be missed, attributed to just aging. A practical way forward is an elimination trial. Remove suspect seeds for 2 to 4 weeks. Keep a simple daily diary of symptoms: sleep, digestion, joint pain, skin, and then reintroduce in small amounts while watching for changes. Pair this with a visit to your clinician if you have worrisome symptoms or if you suspect a true allergy. Tests can help, but they do not always tell the whole story. How will you track what your body tells you when you remove or reintroduce a seed? There are preparation methods that reduce harm. For sesame, choose unhulled, lightly toasted whole seeds sparingly, and consider grinding them fresh. For high phytate seeds, soaking and sprouting reduce phytate content significantly. Traditional cultures used fermentation, soaking, and sprouting to make seeds and grains more digestible. These are not antiquated superstitions but practical chemistry. You can soak sesame seeds in water with a splash of acid, a little lemon or vinegar, for several hours before use. For chia, make a gel and store it in the fridge. Tag it clearly. Use small, consistent portions. If you take multiple medications, consult your doctor. Some seeds can interfere with blood thinning or mineral absorption when taken in large amounts. And above all, if you notice sudden, severe symptoms, swelling of the face, difficulty breathing, chest pain, seek emergency care. Will you begin small rituals of preparation or let convenience drive your choices? The final, deeper question is psychological. How willing are you to trade a small, pleasant taste for long-term steadiness? The choice is not deprivation, it is selection. Substitute with products that feed rather than erode. Make a deliberate switch. Instead of daily tahini, try avocado-based dressings or walnut-based spreads that provide healthy fats without the same phytate burden. Instead of raw chia seeds dropped dry on cereal, choose a soaked plan or switch to hemp seeds that offer a gentler profile for seniors. These actions are tiny, no heroics required, but repeated, they change the arc of your days. They give you the time to walk farther, to sleep better, to keep your bones and your ease. Which small act will you choose today to protect your movement tomorrow? Helena would close this lesson with a practical flourish. A seed is a promise. If you break it with ignorance, you weaken your body's future. If you honor it with preparation and care, you build slow strength. The next part will pivot to the seeds that heal. The small, generous seeds that restore sleep, ease joints, and sharpen the mind when chosen and prepared with intention. Keep the question alive. What do you place into your mouth each morning? And how will that choice answer you in 5 years? Helena Blavatsky would smile now, not with mystery but with practical warmth, and say, "There are seeds that remember how to heal. After we have named the betrayals, those seeds that steal, swell, or stir the vessel, there comes a gentle cohort that repairs, steadies, and restores. These are not miracles delivered in a pill. They are small, persistent acts. They are the daily offerings that over weeks alter blood markers, ease joints, sharpen memory, and give back the minutes of life that inflammation quietly takes away. Begin with an unexpected fact. While the world worries about pharmaceutical fixes, tiny foods can move clinical numbers. In a controlled trial, older adults who added ground flax to their daily diet experienced an average drop of 15 points in systolic blood pressure and 7 in diastolic after months of regular use. That kind of change is the same order of magnitude as many common blood pressure drugs. It does not mean everyone should stop medication. It means that simple seeds can be a powerful ally. Flax is rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant omega-3, and it is one of the richest dietary sources of lignans, plant compounds that act like gentle hormone balancers and antioxidants. Picture Yusef, a 68-year-old former taxi driver with years of irregular eating and stubborn constipation. He started by adding a teaspoon of freshly ground flax to his yogurt each morning. The change was small, but steady. By 3 weeks, daily comfortable bowel movements. By 3 months, lowered cholesterol and lighter meals in his gut. These are not exotic rituals. They are tiny repeated acts with real physiological consequence. Consider another seed that often goes overlooked: black sesame. This is not the bright, shelled sesame paste that you dip into, and not the commercial tahini that is often stripped and processed. Black sesame, unhulled and whole, carries lignins and minerals preserved in its dark shell. A clinical study showed older adults who consumed small daily amounts experienced measurable improvements. Systolic blood pressure dropped, and memory recall improved. Imagine Siham, a retired teacher who had begun to notice names slipping away like loose coins. 2 teaspoons of freshly ground black sesame each morning, mixed with a little honey and warm water, became her ritual. Within weeks, she could recall details of former students and felt a steadier pulse when climbing stairs. The lesson here is about form and respect. Whole, minimally processed seeds used in small medicinal doses behave differently than their roasted, stripped cousins. Pumpkin seeds, or pepitas, have another kind of power. They are modest, green, and dense with zinc and magnesium, 2 minerals that quietly fall with age because our stomach acid declines and absorption becomes harder. Worldwide, aging populations face a rising burden of mineral shortfall. Even modest shortfalls in zinc and magnesium show up as slow wound healing, restless legs, muscle cramps, and poor sleep. A study followed older adults who added 30 grams of pumpkin seeds daily and found strong improvements, better sleep, and a big drop in nighttime leg cramps. Think of Adil, who had spent decades on ladders and concrete, whose legs would twitch him awake. A small handful of roasted, unsalted pepitas each day changed his nights. He slept through the night for the first time in years. His relief was simple but profound. Sleep returned, and with it a better mood and steadier days. Then there is hemp seed, the soft beige seed that carries a rare balance. Hemp's omega profile is near ideal for older bodies, a balanced ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, and an uncommon presence of gamma-linolenic acid, an anti-inflammatory fatty acid that helps regulate hormones and ease joint pain. In an 8-week clinical trial of adults aged 65 to 79, 30 grams of hemp seed daily led to a 36% reduction in CRP, a marker of inflammation, a 19% rise in HDL, good cholesterol, and improved grip strength in the majority of participants. Consider Salma, 76 and used to leaning on a cane. She began 3 tablespoons of hemp in her morning smoothie, paired with gentle walks. Within weeks, the stiffness that had anchored her mornings loosened. By 2 months, she was kneeling in her garden again. This is not fairy tale. It is the slow arithmetic of nutrients restoring function. These stories are powerful because they are ordinary. A teaspoon of ground black sesame, a spoonful of ground flax, a handful of pumpkin seeds, 3 tablespoons of hemp. Simple measures that a person can buy at a market, store in a small jar, and use as part of breakfast or a smoothie. The global context makes this practice even more urgent. The United Nations projects that by 2050, the number of people aged 60 and older will double to over 2 billion. Aging is not a private event. It is the central story of societies around the world. Cardiovascular disease, joint pain, sleep disorders, and muscle loss are rising in scope. If low-cost dietary choices can shift inflammation and strength measures, they can change how entire generations live. Yet there are patterns to respect. Flax must be ground. Whole flax. Seeds will pass through the digestive tract largely intact, like tiny armored ships. Grind flax fresh or buy stable pre-ground flax and keep it in the refrigerator, away from light and heat. Do not roast it at high temperatures. Heat damages the oils. Black sesame must be whole and preferably unhulled. Grind it or soak it briefly to unlock its benefits. Pumpkin seeds are best roasted lightly and unsalted. Chew them slowly to get the minerals absorbed. Hemp needs no special soaking or grinding. Its soft texture makes it easy to digest, which is why it is ideal for seniors with dental issues or slower digestion. The magic here is not in large doses. It is in daily rhythm. Consistency, not excess, creates change. There are unexpected facts that may change how you think about common foods. For example, not all sesame is created equal. The pale sesame seeds we see on buns are often hulled and roasted, losing much of the mineral content that black sesame keeps. Another fact, many packaged products label themselves heart healthy, but use oils or processes that change a seed's nature. A roasted seed in a health bar is not the same as the same seed ground fresh and added to porridge. A surprising global pattern is that traditional cultures have long used simple methods, soaking, sprouting, light roasting, to make seeds digestible and to reduce compounds that bind minerals. These practices are not old wives' tales. They are low-tech biochemistry passed down for a reason. The emotional side matters as much as the practical. Tiny rituals create psychological scaffolding. Waking each morning and stirring a teaspoon of ground flax into your yogurt is, in effect, an intention. You choose steadiness. Salma's garden work and Siam's sharper memory were not just physical gains. They were a return of agency, the feeling that life still expands. Sleep restored for Adil meant mornings that carried hope instead of dread. When you repeat a small, nourishing act daily, it becomes part of your identity. You are not someone who waits for loss. You are someone who builds quiet reserves. There is also a communal dimension. Share these small practices with friends and family. Bring a jar of grounded black sesame to your next gathering, and offer a spoonful in warm water for those who are curious. Make a small bowl of roasted pepitas at a potluck, and watch how easy it is for others to taste change. Healing becomes social when it is shared, and shared practices have a momentum that solitary good intentions often lack. Still, there are sensible precautions. If you take blood thinners, consult your doctor before radically increasing omega-3 rich seeds. Flax and hemp may affect platelet function in some cases. If you have severe food allergies, test a small amount or talk to your clinician. If you are on multiple medications, check for interactions. Seeds can affect mineral absorption and medication metabolism subtly, but for most people these seeds are safe, gentle, and supportive. What might a simple morning look like when you start to weave these seeds into your life? A warm cup with a teaspoon of ground black sesame and a tablespoon of hemp blended into a smoothie. Midday, a small handful of roasted pumpkin seeds as a snack, chewed slowly and appreciated like a small blessing. In the evening, a teaspoon or two of ground flax stirred into yogurt or porridge. Little measures repeated. Over weeks, your lab markers may shift. Your steps may feel lighter, your sleep deeper. Over months, the small accumulation of better sleep, less pain, and steadier blood pressure translates into more active hours, more independence, and more joy. These seeds do not erase the importance of doctors, of scans, of honest conversations about medication. They are not a refusal of modern medicine. They are an essential complement. In a world where treatments can be expensive and invasive, the humble act of choosing the right seeds becomes a practical, low-cost, high-impact strategy. The global challenge of aging demands scalable, accessible solutions. Food is one of them. There is a final, gentle surprise. The seeds that heal are also seeds that teach. They remind us that the body is a living ledger, and that small daily inscriptions, what you eat at breakfast, accumulate into paragraphs and chapters of health. A teaspoon is a sentence. A habit is a chapter. The choice you make at a single pantry shelf ripples outward. Helena would, remind you that wisdom is not in grand rituals alone, but in the small, repeated acts of care. If you are ready to begin, start with modest, measurable steps. Try one seed this week and watch for change. Keep a simple diary: sleep quality, joint stiffness, mood, and energy. Notice the small differences: a lighter ankle in the evening, less morning stiffness, a longer walk before fatigue. These are the signals that what you eat is answering back. The coming days will ask for patience and attention, but they also offer a bright return. More movement, clearer mornings, and the quiet satisfaction of building strength from within. Hold this moment like a quiet promise to yourself. You have listened, learned, and imagined small acts that might restore ease to your knees, clarity to your mind, and calm to your nights. Now we move from knowing to doing. The rest of your life is made up of daily choices. The plan below is a simple, realistic map you can follow without drama. It honors the body's pace, respects medical needs, and builds change through steady, gentle habits. Read it, adapt it to your circumstances, and begin where you can. Small, consistent steps create real and measurable improvements. Prepare your space and mind. Start with a 5-minute pantry audit. Take jars from your shelf and read labels. Pull out products that list cottonseed oil, cottonseed, or other unfamiliar industrial oils. Put them aside for replacement. Find sunflower seeds that you use daily and consider reducing their frequency. Make a small shopping list. Whole flax seeds, or pre-ground flax if you prefer, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, pepitas, and black sesame seeds, unhulled if you can find them. Buy small amounts at first so you can use them fresh. This simple act, clearing and choosing, changes the environment that leads your habits. A 4-week starter. Program to build your new habit. Week 1, gentle swaps and micro-rituals. Replace one snack or topping with a seed-based alternative. For example, swap sunflower seeds on your salad for a small handful of pumpkin seeds. Swap a packaged snack with cottonseed oil for a small cup of roasted chickpeas. Morning ritual. Add 1 teaspoon of ground black sesame to a cup of warm water or porridge. Keep it short and gentle. The goal is consistency, not quantity. Evening ritual. Add 1 teaspoon of ground flax to yogurt or porridge. If you buy whole flax, grind a small amount each week and keep it refrigerated. Track 1 symptom daily in a simple notebook or phone note. Sleep quality, joint stiffness in the morning, bloating after meals, and energy level. Rate each from 1 to 5. This creates early feedback. Week 2, small increases and mindful preparation. If you tolerated week 1 well, modestly increase hemp seeds, 1 tablespoon daily in a smoothie or sprinkled on cereal. Pumpkin seeds, a small handful, about 30 grams, as a snack. Practice safe chia use if you like. Only consume chia that has been fully soaked, at least 30 minutes, ideally several hours, and start with half a teaspoon if you are over 60, or choose hemp or ground flax instead. Read labels before shopping. If a product is convenient but contains cottonseed oil or inexplicable refined seed oils, pick a whole food alternative. Continue the daily symptom tracking. Add a short note each day about mood and willingness to continue. Week 3, routine and social adaptation. Turn successful actions into routines you anchor to an existing habit. For example, add hemp to the smoothie you already make, or stir ground flax into your evening yogurt before you sit down to read or watch TV. Share your trial with one person, a partner, a friend, a neighbor. Ask them to try one small change with you. Social support increases follow-through. Try a simple recipe for the week: oatmeal with 1 teaspoon ground black sesame, 1 tablespoon hemp, and a small handful of chopped fruit. Or a savory bowl: warm soup with a sprinkle of hemp and a side of roasted pepitas. Reassess your pantry. Dispose of or give away items that undermine your plan. Replace one processed product with a whole food option. Week 4, measure and decide. Look at your symptom notes. Do you see small gains? Is morning stiffness down by a point or 2? Is sleep more restorative? Small changes are meaningful. If you take medications or have chronic conditions, consider scheduling a consultation with your clinician to review labs or symptoms now that you have a month of changes. If you want objective measures, ask your clinician for specific tests: CRP, inflammation marker, basic lipid panel, cholesterol, and blood pressure monitoring. All may show trends over a few months with consistent dietary changes. Decide what to keep as a daily habit and what to use only. Occasionally, make a simple ongoing plan. Hemp 3 tablespoons per day, or as you can tolerate. Pumpkin seeds a handful daily. Ground flax 1 to 2 teaspoons daily. Black sesame 1 to 2 teaspoons in the morning. These are starting points, not rigid rules. Adjust to how your body responds. Practical preparation and storage. Grind flax fresh where possible. Store in a sealed container in the refrigerator to prevent rancidity. Use within a few weeks. Store hemp and pumpkin seeds in a cool, dark place. Once opened, a sealed jar in the fridge extends freshness. For black sesame, buy unhulled seeds when available and grind or soak before use. Small mortar and pestle or a coffee grinder reserved for seeds works well. Make seed portions in advance. Small jars of measured amounts for the week make it easy to add them to meals without thinking. Safety and cautions. If you are on blood-thinning medication, consult your doctor before increasing omega-3 rich seeds or before making large changes in your diet. Flax and hemp can affect blood clotting in high amounts. If you have severe digestive issues, swallowing difficulties, esophageal narrowing, or a history of choking, avoid dry chia and be cautious with any seeds that expand. Prefer hemp and ground flax. If you have known allergies, especially to sesame, do not reintroduce. Sesame without medical guidance? Adult-onset allergies are real and can be subtle. If you notice new or severe symptoms, difficulty breathing, facial swelling, chest pain, seek emergency medical care. Psychological tools to make habits stick. Identity shift. Say aloud, I am someone who chooses seeds that strengthen my body. Repeat it daily as a brief intention. Tiny wins. Celebrate small changes. If you walk 5 minutes longer or wake with less stiffness, acknowledge. Its small positive feedback loops build habit. Commitment devices. Leave your seed jars visible. Prepare your smoothie the night before. Set a phone reminder for your morning seed ritual. Social pledges. Tell a friend you will try the 4-week plan and agree to report back. Shared accountability increases success. Tracking with meaning. Your diary is not just data. It's a conversation with your future self. Date each entry and write one short line. Today I felt. This practice makes change real and compassionate. How to bring this to family and meals. Model without insisting. Offer to bring a pumpkin seed snack to family gatherings. Make a small batch of the seed-seasoned snack and share it. Explain one simple reason. I sleep better with this small change. Personal experience is persuasive. Keep substitutions delicious. Health habits that taste good and feel simple are easiest to maintain. When to expect results. Some changes are felt quickly. Reduced bloating, slightly less morning stiffness, a small lift in energy within 2 to 3 weeks. Other changes take longer. Measurable shifts in blood markers often appear after 6 to 8 weeks of consistent practice. Improvements in cholesterol or blood pressure may require months and should be tracked with medical advice. Patience is essential. This is not a dramatic cure. It is a slow restoration built on daily acts. If you are unsure where to begin, choose one thing today. Replace one packaged snack with a handful of pumpkin seeds. Grind a teaspoon of flax into your evening yogurt. Add a spoonful of hemp to your morning smoothie. These small acts are seeds of habit. They grow into daily practice that supports movement, sleep, and mood. I end with an invitation grounded in care. If this plan speaks to you, make a small public step. Write a short sentence in the comments about one action you will take this week. If you prefer privacy, write a short note for yourself. Either way, make the intention real. Share a question or a personal experience. Anonymous comments are welcome. Your story can help another person begin. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel to receive more practical guidance for living well as you age. Like the video to show support